If you create a criteria where you've got to censor what people are offended by, then the more people you can persuade to be offended by more and more things, the more excuses you have to censor people's views, information, and opinions. And that is why we have political correctness in its ever marching, goose-stepping extremes. It's because they are manipulating the target population to silence itself. And it's got to stop. If people don't like it, and the vast majority don't, then they have to start, like I say, activating the backbone and using this. Because if we don't use this, we lose it. We are losing it. Once freedom of speech is trumped in importance by people being offended, freedom of speech is dead. Because you can get people to be offended by anything. And this is what is happening. We've had a recent ruling by the European Court of Human Rights that said that someone's religious feelings being hurt or offended is more important than freedom of expression. A massive crossing of the Rubicon in Europe towards the end of freedom of speech and the creation of that. Comedy is being destroyed by this. And where are the comedians speaking out? One or two, yes. Where's the majority? Oh no, they want to offend. Well, you're not a bloody comedian then. Comedy is a wonderful way of exposing the nonsense, the lies, the ludicrousness of those in power. And yes, we have this week outrage after Netflix pulls comedy show criticising Saudi Arabia. This is a comedian's show being cut for criticising with humour one of the most fascistic, psychopathic regimes on earth. This is how far we've gone. Netflix has taken down an episode of a satirical comedy show critical of Saudi Arabia in the country after officials from the kingdom complained. Oh, really? And? Fascistic, psychopathic, mass-murdering Saudi Arabia complains about being criticised? Oh, we'll take it down then. What are you doing? It sparked criticism, thank goodness, from Human Rights Watch, which said that the act undermined the streaming service's claim to support artistic freedom, which it clearly doesn't if it's going to do this. Human Rights Watch said artists whose work is broadcast on Netflix should be outraged, adding that Saudi Arabia has no interest in its citizens exercising democratic rights. But you see, for all the bollocks you hear from these corporations about how moral they are, how progressive they are, they're just servants of the system. What's progressive about shutting down a comedian for criticising a psychopathic, fascistic regime? For murdering a guy in another country by cutting him up? This is how far down the hole, the chasm of free speech destruction we have now gone. And there's a guide, very obvious guide, to what is the agenda of this cabal. And that is, are you allowed to have a contrary opinion? Or are you, for having another view of a situation or a subject, met with abuse and censorship? If the answer is yes, you can't have another view, otherwise you get abuse and censorship, it's the agenda.
Wir schreiben das Jahr 2019. Die ganze Comedy-Welt duckt sich vor den Herrschenden weg. Oder? Ach nein. In einem kleinen Land lebt eine kleine Frau, die sich noch wehrt. Schauen wir mal hin. Ach, in diesem Land leben Menschen, die ihrem Brauchtum nachgehen, tanzen, Sauerkraut essen, Bier trinken. Und das in Massen? Aber wo ist hier diese kleine Frau? Nein, diese ist es nicht. Ach, da haben wir sie ja. Lisa Fitz. Und nun Spaß beiseite. Lisa Fitz wird seit einiger Zeit sehr von den Medien geächtet. Man sieht es hier auf Wikipedia, was über sie geschrieben wird. Lest es einmal nach. Sie traut sich noch, den Mund aufzumachen, die Herrschenden zu entlarven. Liebe Lisa Fitz, falls du dies hier hörst, ich verneige mich vor dir. Du bist eine der ganz wenigen Comedians, die so viel Mut haben, so viel Courage. Du bist ein Vorbild nicht nur für deine Comedian-Gemeinschaft, sondern für alle Menschen. Mach weiter so.